Hello there. Thanks for stopping by Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 85. Robert Max here. Hope everyone's doing well. And today we got Strat-O-Matic baseball on the table for a continuation of the Oldtimer Kings tournament. This is game number 23, which has the current Kings, the 61 Detroit Tigers, hosting the 1950 New York Yankees. Before we get to the starting lineups, take a quick look at the situation on the hill so far. As you can see, the Tigers are the current Kings looking for their 5th win, which would tie them with the Phillies, getting halfway to the 10 wins that are required to make it to the Goodell Cup Finals. The Yankees are going, I don't know, did I say Tigers? But it's the Tigers, yes. And the Yankees are going to have something to say about that. And the 57 Braves, as you can see, are waiting to take on the winner of this one. All right. For the visiting 1950 Yankees, leading off in left field is Gene Woodling. Batting second at shortstop, Phil Rizzuto. Batting third, catcher Yogi Berra. Batting fourth, Joe DiMaggio in center field. Batting fifth, first baseman Johnny Mize. Batting sixth, Billy Johnson at third base. Batting seventh, Hank Bauer in right field. Batting eighth, Jerry Coleman, the second baseman. And pitching and batting ninth is Vic Raschi. In 1950, he was 21-8 with a 3.99 ERA and 257 innings pitched. He's a number 2 hitting pitcher. So that card goes into the lineup for him. Now for the current Kings, the 1961 Detroit Tigers. Leading off at second base, Jake Wood. Batting second, center field, Bill Bruton. Batting third, in right field, Al Kaline. Batting fourth in left field, the hero from the last game with the walk-off homer in the bottom of the ninth, Rocky Colavito. Batting fifth, Norm Cash at first base. Batting sixth, Steve Boros. He's at third. Catcher Dick Brown bats seventh. Chico Fernandez, the shortstop, bats eighth. And on the hill and batting ninth is Jim Bunning in 1961. He was 17-11 with a 3.19 ERA and 268 innings of work. He's a number 1 hitting pitcher, so that card will go in the lineup for him. All right. I'm ready. Bunning's ready. And so is Gene Woodling, and we are underway. And that's a leadoff single for Woodling. Good start for the Yanks. So he's on first. He's only on first. Ay, ay, ay. Nobody out. Here's Phil Rizzuto. Let's take a look at Woodling. He's a 1-14. This stage of the game, he's going to stay put. That's a 6-11, and that's a fly ball to left field. There's an X check on that. Colavito is a 2. And we roll a 9. And that is a ball that gets by Colavito and hits the wall. That is a double. That's going to send Woodling to third. He's being held up there. And Scooter slides into second base with a 2-bagger. And the Yankees have runners on second and third with nobody out here in the top of the first. And catcher Yogi Berra. And look out. That is a high, deep fly ball to center field. Bill Bruton goes back to the track, to the wall over his head. It's out of here, gone. A 3-run home run for Yogi Berra, and the Yankees are up 3-0, and Jim Bunning is shocked. 3-0 and nobody out. 3 RBIs for Berra. And 3 fatigue points for Bunning right off the bat. All right. You can hear a pin drop here in Tiger Stadium. Base is empty, nobody out. Yankees lead 3-0. And here's Joe DiMaggio. And DiMaggio draws the walk. Don't know what's going on with Bunning this early, but there is some movement out there in the Tigers bullpen. Man on first, nobody out, Johnny Mize. Another walk. Now there's going to be some action in the bullpen. Something's not right with Bunning. It's first and second, nobody out. The Yankees are already leading 3-0. Third baseman Billy Johnson's coming to the plate. And Phil Reagan, or excuse me, yes, Phil Reagan is going to start warming up for the Tigers. So it is third baseman Bill Johnson. First and second, nobody out. That's a fly ball to left field. Colavito's under that, makes the catch. The runners are going to hold, and there's one away. First and second, one out. Hank Bauer, Yankees right fielder. And he draws a walk, and that's going to load the bases. My goodness. All right, bases loaded, one out. The Yankees are bringing the infield in to try to stop the bleeding. Or excuse me, the Tigers are bringing the infield in. Here's second baseman Jerry Coleman, bases loaded. And he hits a single. And that's going to score another run. And it's now 4-0. Bunning gets his fourth fatigue point. And here's Vic Raschi, the Yankees pitcher, who has a 4-run lead before even visiting the mound. The infield is still in. That's a ground ball to shortstop. It's an X check. Fernandez is a 3, and we roll a 20. That tells us to select another card. Here's a 9. And Fernandez does make a nice play. In fact, it's Fernandez to Wood to Cash for a 6-4-3. Thankfully for the Yankees, or excuse me, for the Tigers, an inning-ending double play. But the Yankees do get 4 runs. And with 1/2 in the books, excuse me. A little tongue-tied this morning, or this afternoon. But anyway, with 1/2 inning in the books, it's the Yankees 4. And the Indians coming up to bat. Bunning gets his 5th fatigue point. We'll see if he can settle down. Vic Raschi's coming out here in the bottom of the first with a 4-run lead. Takes a little pressure off him. Here's Jake Wood. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 1 for Raschi. And there's one away here in the bottom of the first. Here's Bill Bruton, center fielder. And that's another strikeout. 2 away. It's going to bring up Al Kaline. And Kaline rips one to the left center gap. And it's a stand-up 2-out double for Al. Here's Rocky Colavito, hero from game 22. And that's a strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Raschi here in the bottom of the first. And with 1 in the books, it's the Yankees 4 and the Tigers nothing. Raschi will get his first fatigue point. Bunning is coming back out. Reagan is ready if needed in the Tigers bullpen. And it's back to the top of the order for the Yankees. Gene Woodling, who singled his first time up. This time he hits a ground ball back to Jim Bunning. He trots over towards first base, tosses underhand to Norm Cash, and there is 1 away. Yankees shortstop Phil Rizzuto. Rizzuto doubled his first time up. This time He hits a fly ball to left field. Colavito's under that, makes the catch, and there are 2 away. Yogi Berra, 3-run home run his first time up. And Berra's 2 for 2 with a 2-out single. So Berra's on first with 2 away, and Joe DiMaggio, he drew a walk his first time up. This time he hits a ground ball to the shortstop. Chico Fernandez, it's an X-check. He's a 3. We roll a 3. And that one gets by Fernandez. Scored as a single. That's going to allow Berra to move up to second. He'll hold there. So the Yankees have runners on first and second, 2 outs. And John Mize walked his first time up. This time he hits a ground ball to first base. It's another X-check. Norm Cash is a 3. And we roll a 12. And Cash is going to go to first base unassisted to end the inning. All right, with 1.5 innings played, it's the Yankees 4 and the Tigers nothing. Bunning gets his 6th fatigue point. Here's Rashi. And he's going to face Norm Cash, Steve Boros, and Dick Brown. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Rashi, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the first. Here's third baseman Steve Boros. And Boros draws the 1-out walk. So he's on first with 1 away. And Tigers catcher Dick Brown. Brown hits a fly ball to left field. Gene Woodling is underneath near the track, makes the catch, and there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Boros holds it first. So he's there with 2 outs and Chico Fernandez. And Fernandez hits a fly ball. Also to Woodling, makes the catch, and the Tigers are retired here in the bottom of the second. And with 2 innings in the books, it's the Yankees 4 and the Tigers nothing. Rashi gets his 2nd fatigue point. Bunning is at 6, coming out here for the top of the 3rd. And third baseman Billy Johnson. And Johnson hits one to the outfield. Makes the turn at first, but holds there. So Johnson's on first with nobody out. And Hank Bauer, who walked his first time up. And Bauer hits one past third baseman Steve Boros, goes into left field. And he is on with a he's on with a single. That's going to send Johnson to third. So they have runners on the corners. For Jerry Coleman, Tigers are bringing the infield in to try to avoid giving up any more runs. All right, here's Jerry Coleman, who singled his, yes, he singled his last time up. It's a 6-6. It's a fly ball to left field. And Colavito's under that. Makes the catch. But that's going to allow Johnson to score. The throw is cut off. And Bauer holds at first base. So there's one away. And Bunning gets his 7th fatigue point. It's going to bring up pitcher Vic Rashi. He hit into a double play his first time up. This time he hits a fly ball to right field. And Al Kaline's under that, makes the catch. Bauer holds. And there are 2 away. Back to the top of the order for the Yankees and Gene Woodley. He's 1 for 2. And he hits a single. Bauer goes to second. Let's check his running. He's a 1 to 14. It makes him a 1 to 16. But I think we're going to hold him there, considering the Yankees have a 5-run lead. So it's first and second with 2 outs and Phil Rizzuto. And Rizzuto pops one up. It's going to stay in the infield. Norm Cash is under that, near the bag, makes the catch. And the side is retired, but the Yankees do pick up another run. And after 2.5 innings of play, it's the Yankees 5 and the Tigers nothing. Bunning gets his 8th fatigue point. Vic Raschi's coming out for the bottom of the 3rd. He's only got 2. First batter he's going to face is Jim Bunning. And Bunning hits a ground ball to second baseman Jerry Coleman. Tosses over to Johnny Mize for the first out. And that's a 4-3 putout and 1 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. Back to the top of the order for the Tigers. Jake Wood, who struck out his first time up. This time he hits a single. That's a 1-out single for Wood. So he's on first. 1 away. And Bill Bruton. Bruton, he struck out as well. This time he hits a line drive to second baseman Jerry Coleman, who makes a nice play, robs him of a hit, fires over to first base, but Wood is back in time. And there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. It's going to bring up Al Kaline. He doubled his first time up, but was stranded there. Right now he has Wood on first base with 2 away. And Kaline draws the 2-out walk. So now it's first and second for the Tigers with 2 outs. And Rocky Colavito. Yankees lead 5-0. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 5 for Vic Raschi. And the Tigers' threat is thwarted. And with 3 innings in the books, it's the Yankees 5 and the Tigers nothing. Raschi gets his 3rd fatigue point. Bunning's coming back out. He's at 8. Reagan has been throwing as needed in the bullpen. He'll be ready to go if Bunning gets in trouble or gets fatigued. But here in the top of the 4th, first batter is Yogi Berra. And it's a ground ball to first base. It's an X check. Cash is a 3. We roll a 4, and that is a ball that gets by Cash. And it's scored as a single. Bear is now 3 for 3 in this game. He's on first with nobody out, and Joe DiMaggio. It's a ground ball to second base. This is another X check. Jake Wood is a 4. We roll a 2. And that is another base hit. That's going to send Barrett to 3rd. And there's runners on the corners with nobody out. The Yankees have been pouring it on and not letting up all game so far. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Infield's in. Here's Johnny Mize. It's a fly ball to center field. Excuse me. Bill Bruton's under that, makes the catch. Not deep enough for Barrett to tag, and he'll hold. So will DiMaggio. So there's 1 away. Excuse me, runner's still on the corners, and Billy Johnson, infield is still in. And look out. This is a deep fly ball to left field. Sends Colavito back to the track. He watches it over his head, out of here, gone. A 3-run home run. for Billy Johnson. And this one is starting to turn into a laugher. It's now 8-0. And that's going to be it for Jim Bunning. So Bunning's day is over. Excuse me. He's going to be replaced by Phil Reagan. In 1961, Reagan was 10-7 with a 5.25 ERA and 120 innings pitched. First batter he's going to face is Hank Bauer. And there is one out. And the bases are empty because Billy Johnson cleared them. Yankees lead 8-0. And look out again. This is a high, deep fly ball to center field. Bruton just stands there, watches it. He knows it's way up, out of here, and gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Yankees, and it is now 9-0. And Reagan gets his first fatigue point. And the not-so-faithful Detroit fans are slowly starting to leave this one already. We only got a third of the game in. All right, it is 9-0 in favor of the Yankees. There is one out. Bases are empty, and Jerry Coleman. And they are just not letting up. This is a one-out single for Coleman. Here's Vic Raschi. He's swinging away. And he strikes out. That's the first strikeout for the Yankees. It's the second out of the inning, and it's also the first strikeout for Reagan. So there's 2 outs and a man on first. Back to the top of the order, and Gene Woodling. Woodling is 2 for 3. This time he hits a fly ball to center field. Bill Bruton. He's near the track, makes the catch for the 3rd out. But the Yankees score 4 more here in the top of the 4th, and with 3.5 in the books, they lead the Detroit Tigers 9-0. My. Reagan gets his second fatigue point. Raschi, who's at 3, comes out here for the bottom of the 4th, and first batter he's going to face is Norm Cash. And Cash leads off with a single. So he's on first, nobody out. Steve Boros, Tigers' third baseman. He hits a ground ball to third baseman Billy Johnson. Wait a second, I'm looking at the wrong. That is not a ground ball to Billy Johnson. It is a single. Back-to-back singles, right? 3-6, 3-6, 1-16, a single. We rolled a 15. 1 base advance for Cash. I don't know what I was looking at. And it's first and second with nobody out. And catcher Dick Brown. He hits a fly ball to left field. Gene Woodling's under that, makes the catch. And the runners hold. So first and second with 1 out, and Chico Fernandez. Look out. And Fernandez hits a single. That's going to score Norm Cash, and the Tigers are on the board. Boros moves to third. And it's runners on the corners with 1 out. And the score is now 9-1. Raschi gets his 4th fatigue point. Here's pitcher Phil Reagan. He's also a #1 hitting pitcher, so that card works for him as well. So it's first and third with 1 out. And Reagan hits a fly ball to right field. Hank Bauer's under that, but it's an X check. He's a 2. Roll a 16. And he makes the catch, and it's too shallow. Got the right Reagan's name down here. But that fly ball is too shallow. And the runners hold, and there's 2 away. Back to the top of the order, and Jake Wood. Runners on first and third. And that's a single. That's going to score Boros. And Fernandez moves up to second. So it's first and second. And Reagan gets his 3rd fatigue points. It's first and second with 2 outs. And center fielder Bill Bruton. And Bruton draws the walk. That's going to load him up. So Rashi in a bit of trouble here. Score is now 9-2. Bases are loaded with 2 outs, and now Kaline. And Kaline hits a deep fly ball to right field. And Hank Bauer is at the track near the wall, makes the catch for the 3rd out. But the Tigers do get 2 runs and get on the board. And with 4 innings in the books, the Yankees lead 9-2. Rashi gets his 5th fatigue point. Phil Reagan, who's at 3, comes out for top of the 5th. And it's going to be Phil Rizzuto leading off. It's a ground ball back to the pitcher, Reagan. It is an X check. He's a 2, and we roll a 4. And Reagan makes a nice defensive play over to Norm Cash for the 1st out here in the top of the 5th. So 1 out, nobody on Yogi Berra, who is 3 for 3 in this game with a home run and a couple runs scored. This time he hits a ground ball to second baseman Jake Wood, over to Norm Cash for the 2nd out. So 2 outs, nobody on, and Joe DiMaggio. This is a fly ball to center field that Bill Bruton has. Makes the catch for the 3rd out, and believe it or not, the Yankees go 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th, yet they still lead 9-2. Excuse me. Reagan gets his 4th fatigue point. Vic Rashi, who is at 5, comes out here for the bottom of the 5th. Actually, he should be 6. 4 innings and 2 runs. So he is at 6 fatigue points. And leading off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 5th is Rocky Colavito. And that's a strikeout. That is strikeout number 6. 3rd strikeout this game for Colavito. And there's 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Here's Norm Cash. And another strikeout. That's number 7 for Rashi. 2 outs, nobody on. Steve Boros. This is a fly ball to left field. Gene Woodling's a 2. We roll a 16. And Woodling makes a nice catch out there for the 3rd out. So the Tigers go 1-2-3 as well in the 5th inning. And with 5 innings of play completed, it's the Yankees 9 and the Tigers 2. Rashi gets his 7th fatigue point. Phil Reagan's back out. He's at 4. And the first batter he's going to face is Johnny Mize here in the top of the 6th. And Mize hits a fly ball to right field. Al Kaline is under that, near the track. Makes the catch, and there's one away. There's third baseman Billy Johnson. He hits a fly ball to left field. Gene Woodling's under that one. Or excuse me, not Gene Woodling, Rocky Colavito. And there are 2 away. 2 outs, nobody on for Hank Bauer. And that's a 2-out single for Bauer. So the Yankees avoid going 1-2-3, 2 innings in a row. Bauer's on first base, 2 outs, and Jerry Coleman. And Coleman hits a 2-out double. Bauer's going to go to third and hold there. So it's second and third with 2 outs. And Vic Rashi. And Rashi hits a single that's going to drive Bauer in. My. It's now 10-2. We'll check on Coleman. Coleman's going to hold up at second base with the 10-2 lead. We're back to the top of the order in Gene Woodling. And Woodling hits a ground ball to second baseman Jake Wood over to Norm Cash for the 3rd out. But the Yankees do pick up another run and now lead 10-2 after 5.5. So Reagan gets 5th fatigue point. Rashi, who is at 7, is coming out for the bottom of the 6th. And first batter he's going to face is Dick Brown. And Brown hits a line drive that gets by second baseman Jerry Coleman. And it's a leadoff single for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Chico Fernandez. Man on first, nobody out. Tigers trail 10-2. This is a fly ball to left field. It's going to be an X check. Woodling's a 2, and we roll a 2. And that is a base hit. So back-to-back hits. Brown's going to hold up at second. So it's first and second with nobody out. And pitcher Phil Reagan. Reagan's 0 for 1. This time he hits a ground ball to third base. That's an X check. Billy Johnson's a 2 for the Yankees. We roll a 20, which is probably going to have us roll again. Yes. We roll an 11. And that's a 1-base error. That's going to load him up. That's the first error of the game. So that was that Woodling? Third base. No, that was Billy Johnson. So that's an E5. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. The Yankees commit 1 error, or first error of the game. And bases loaded with nobody out and Jake Wood. Yankees are going to play normal depth on the infield. 6. And that is a single. That's going to score another run. Brown scores. Fernandez moves to third, and Reagan moves to second. And Rashi gets his 8th fatigue point, and it's now 10-3. So there's runners at second and third, or excuse me, bases are loaded. Still nobody out. And Bill Bruton. Infield still at normal depth. This is a fly ball to right field. K-Line at the track makes the catch. Oh, excuse me, that's not right. What am I doing? Oh my goodness. Not K-Line. Hank Bauer makes the catch, but that's going to score another run. So that's a sack. And that's the first out of the inning. All the other runners hold, but Fernandez scores. So now it's 10-4. I apologize for that. It's 10-4. Runners on first and second, and 1 out. And Rashi gets his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, his 9th fatigue point. So first and second with 1 out. Now K-Line, and the score is 10-4. This is a catcher's card X. And Berra is a 2. We roll a 12. And K-Line pops this one up near the Yankees dugout. And Berra makes the catch there for the 2nd out. So there's 2 outs, men on first and second. And Rocky Colavito. Yankees lead 10-4. This is a ground ball to third baseman Billy Johnson, over to John Mize for the 3rd out. And the Yankees get out of the jam, but the Tigers do score 2 more runs. And after 6 innings of play, it's the Yankees 10 and the Tigers 4. Rashi gets his 10th fatigue point. So there'll probably be some action in the bullpen. In fact, it's going to be Whitey Ford starting to warm up for the Yankees. Okay, so we come out here for the top of the 7th. Phil Reagan, who is at 6. First batter he's going to face is not Phil Rizzuto. Hold on a second. I think I made a mistake here. 1, 2, 3. Phil Rizzuto is leading off the top of the 7th. All right. Just a minor clerical error. I'll fix that later. Okay, so Rizzuto leading off. He hits a ground ball to shortstop. Chico Fernandez. That's not right. Chico Fernandez over to Norm Cash for the 1st out. There's 1 away. Here in the top of the 7th, Yogi Berra comes to the plate. Berra is 3 for 4 with a home run. And he's not finished yet because he hits a deep fly ball to center field. Bill Bruton watches it over his head, way up, out of here, gone. Solo shot with 1 out for Yogi Berra. And it's now 11-4. And Reagan gets his 7th fatigue point. And there's going to be some action now in the Tigers bullpen. And it's going to be Hank Aguirre warming up. As Reagan as a relief pitcher, he will be fatigued if he gives up another run. So Aguirre will be ready in 2 batters, I would say. So the bases are empty with 1 out, and we have Joe DiMaggio. It's a ground ball to shortstop. It's the next check. Fernandez is a 3. Roll a 4. And Fernandez makes a nice play. Over to Cash for the 2nd out. So there's 2 outs, nobody on. And Johnny Mize. And he strikes out. That is strikeout number 2, I believe. For Reagan, yes it is. And that's it for the Yankees here in the top of the 7th, but they do pick up a run on Berra's second home run of the game, a solo shot this time, and with 6.5 innings played, it's the Yankees 11 and the Tigers 4. Reagan gets another fatigue point. He is fatigued now. He's finished for the day. He'll be replaced when the Yankees come back to bat in the top of the 8th. But right now, Vic Raschi, who is at 10, with Whitey Ford ready to go, he's back out for right now, and he's going to face Norm Cash here in the bottom of the 7th. And Cash draws the leadoff walk. So Cash is on first with nobody out for Steve Boros. And that's the second walk, and that's going to be it for Vic Raschi. So we got runners on first and second. 2 walks in a row. And Vic Raschi's day is done. New pitcher for the Yankees is Whitey Ford. 1950, he was 9-1 with a 2.81 ERA. 112 innings pitched. We're using him out of the bullpen because he is listed as a starter reliever. First batter he's going to face is Dick Brown. And get him in the lineup here. Okay. So it's first and second with nobody out. Dick Brown. He hits a ground ball to third base. He steps on the bag. That is Billy Johnson, steps on the bag. Fires over to Jerry Coleman covering second for a 5-4 double play. So Brown's going to reach on a fielder's choice. And Cash and Boros are forced out. So there's 2 outs, nobody on, and Chico Fernandez. All right, warming up for the Tigers here in the, it's Hank Aguirre, I believe. I don't think I've already, yeah, it's Hank Aguirre who's warming up for the Tigers. All right, so 2 outs, nobody on, Chico Fernandez. He hits a ground ball to third base. Billy Johnson over to Johnny Mize for the 3rd out. And that's it for the Tigers here in the 7th. So after 7 innings of play, it is the Yankees 11 and the Tigers 4. Ford gets his first fatigue point. Phil Reagan's day is done. I don't know why I'm putting him out here. New pitcher for the Tigers is Hank Aguirre. In 1961, he was 4-4 with a 3.27 ERA, 55 innings pitched. All right. First batter he's going to face is Billy Johnson. Actually, hold on a second. Now, Hank Aguirre is going to pitch, but it's going to be a double switch. He's going to bat in the 8th spot. And coming into play shortstop is Dick McAuliffe. McAuliffe will come in and play shortstop now. He is a 4 at short. So it's McAuliffe. He's going to be a 6, and he's a 4. And Aguirre's going to bat in the 8th spot. He's a 2. All right, so Dick McAuliffe is coming in to play shortstop. He is going to bat in the 9th spot. So he will be up first. For the Tigers in the bottom of the 8th. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, here's Billy Johnson leading off the top of the 8th. And he pops one up that's going to stay in the infield. And Dick McAuliffe, who just entered the game, is under that, makes the catch. And there's one away. So 1 out. And Hank Bauer. And Bauer hits a line drive to second baseman Jake Wood. Makes a nice play, robs Bauer of a hit. And there are 2 away here in the top of the 8th. So 2 outs, nobody on for Jerry Coleman. Coleman draws a 2-out walk. So Coleman's on first with 2 outs, and pitcher Whitey Ford. Whitey Ford is a number 2 hitting pitcher, so that card works for him. And he strikes out. First strikeout for Aguirre. And that's it for the Yankees here in the top of the 8th. So it's 7.5 in the books. It's the Yankees 11 and the Tigers 4. So Aguirre gets his first fatigue point. And Whitey Ford comes out with 1 fatigue point. First batter he's going to face is Dick McAuliffe, who entered the game on a double switch. He's playing shortstop. And McAuliffe hits a ground ball to first baseman Johnny Mize, and he's going to go to the bag unassisted. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Back to the top of the order, and Jake Wood. And Wood hits a 1-out single. So he's on first with 1 out. And Bill Bruton. And that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Whitey Ford. And there's 2 away. So 2 outs, a man on first, and Al Kaline. Tigers trail 11-4. It's a ground ball to second base. It's an X check. Coleman is a 2. And we roll a 14. And he makes the play. Walks over, or jogs over, I should say. And it's an unassisted 4 at second base, forcing Wood. And that's it for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 8th. So with 8 innings in the books, it's the Yankees 11 and the Tigers 4. That's actually a fielder's choice for Kaline there. All right, and Ford gets his second fatigue point. And Aguirre's coming out here in the top of the 9th. And it's the top of the order for the Yankees. So that'd be Gene Woodling leading off. It's a ground ball to first base. It's an X check for Norm Cash, who is a 3. And we roll a 1. And that is a leadoff single for Gene Woodling. So he's on first with nobody out. Phil Rizzuto. Yankees lead 11-4. That's a walk. So now it's first and second. Nobody out. And Yogi Berra, who has been a beast in this game. This time he hits a ground ball to first base. And the only play that Cash has is to force Rizzuto at second. It's going to allow Woodling to move to third, and Berra reaches on a fielder's choice. So it's first and third with one out here in the top of the ninth, and Joe DiMaggio. He hits a ground ball to third base. And that's going to be a Boros to Wood to Cash 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. And the Tigers do not score. Or excuse me, the Yankees do not score in the top of the ninth. And with 8.5 in the books, it's the Yankees 11, Tigers 4. McGuire gets his second fatigue point. Ford is coming out here with 2 to try to close this one out. And first batter is Rocky Colavito. He hits a ground ball to shortstop Phil Rizzuto, over to Johnny Mize, and there's one away. So one out, nobody on for Norm Cash. That's a fly ball to right field. Hank Bauer's under that. 2 away. Last chance to keep this alive is Steve Boros. 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the ninth. Yankees lead 11-4. And Whitey Ford ends this one with a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Ford. And that's it. So the Yankees come into Detroit and send the current Kings, or who were the Kings, send them Tigers a tumbling down to the bottom. The Yankees are the new Kings, and they win this one 11-4. See if we can get some totals for the Yankees. 11 runs on. $13 hits, and they did commit 1 error. The Tigers 4 runs on. Eight hits, no errors. Winning pitcher is Vic Raschi. Losing pitcher is Jim Bunning. So we have a new King of the Hill in the New York Yankees. The Tigers do not get their 5th win, and they drop to the bottom of the hill. Have to wait some time to make another stab at that. And the Yankees will go back to the Bronx and have the 1957 Milwaukee Braves come in and visit them in Game 24. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon, or whatever time of day it is that you watch this. And I'll be back again in the near future with another replay video. And until then, take care.